Hello, welcome to the YouTube channel. Welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about some rumours because so far on this channel it's been new kit and Paulinho leaving. And obviously Bobby D. Cordova-Reid has now left for Leicester. That's also been confirmed. But we need to start talking about incomings. And it actually has, in the last couple of days, maybe just got a little bit more interesting. There are previous targets we can talk about. You know, Andre McTominay, Trevor Chalobah, but there are maybe two players that maybe things are getting a little bit more exciting, heating up a little bit, and we'll get into that in due course. Just before that, it has now been confirmed by the club that Fulham will be playing Benfica in the Algarve on August 2nd. How exciting! That will be very fun, and that will be just under a week, just over a week before the game against Hoffenheim. So that will basically be the last two games before the start of the season away at Old Trafford. So let's get into those three players I previously mentioned that don't have many legs to it as of yet, but maybe still worth talking about. Trevor Chalobah, brother of Nathaniel Chalobah, of course. He's been linked with a move. The quoted fee was about £25 million. He's a centre-back who would probably complement Bassi very, very well. Obviously, it's not a massive move for him because in terms of it's a big move in terms of, he might get some more first team football, but from Chelsea to Fulham, it's a pretty easy journey. Tosin obviously going from Fulham to Chelsea earlier this summer. It would make sense. I think this signing does make a lot of sense. A lot of Premier League experience now. He's getting to that age where he might be reaching his prime years, and I think that, again, like I said, with Bassi, that would be a really good partnership, and it's almost a like-for-like replacement for Tosin, a player coming from the club that Tosin obviously joined. I'm fairly certain this could be one that could rumble on. Chalobah might not get the minutes at Chelsea he wants now under Maresca, and I think he's due a move to a Premier League team or to a team where he will get a lot of first team minutes. And I think Fulham may be one of those teams front and centre of the queue for Chalobah. I could see this one happening, but the rumours of that deal has gone quiet, as have the other two who I'm about to mention, and that's because I'm mentioning in this part. We get onto some more prominent rumours just in a second. Let's go to McTominay now. Now, Scott McTominay, obviously, who's played at the Euros, so he's probably on a little bit of a break now before he goes back to Carrington, before he starts his pre-season with Manchester United. Now, this time last summer, we were linked with another Manchester United midfielder in Fred, and we were all sort of convinced that Fred was going to join Fulham because he was pictured speaking with Marco Silva after that last game of the season against United at Old Trafford. We put two and two together, did not get four, because he ended up joining Fenerbahce, I believe. He went to the Turkish league, and I think McTominay for Fulham would be a good signing. He's demonstrated at Manchester United that not only is he a midfielder who can be a bit of a box-to-box, but he loves to arrive in the box quite late, score goals, and he's a good header of the ball as well. And he's scored a fair few goals. He always manages to get a few shots on target away when playing for Manchester United. And I wouldn't be against this. I think this would be a reasonably good signing for a player who has rose in the ranks of Manchester United a little bit under the radar. I mean, he really is now a prominent first team player for Manchester United, and I think that this would be a good signing. Obviously, Paulinho is going to leave. He might not be a direct replacement for Paulinho per se. He might be more of an 8 as opposed to a 6 defensive midfielder. But I don't mind this. And obviously, Fulham will need to upgrade the midfield. I think obviously Harrison Reed and Sasha Lukic can play in that number 8 position. But I think McTominay, I wouldn't say he wouldn't start as a number 10, but like I say, he does arrive late in the box. He likes to get himself forward and be on the end of chances, So McTominay is an interesting one. These are two players from the Premier League in Chalobah and McTominay who have been linked with Fulham. But again, these links came around maybe the Chalobah one was a few weeks ago. The McTominay one was maybe last week. But nothing much has come of it since. Like I said, he's probably away on relaxing after Scotland lost out in the Euros, and he'll be on his holiday. Now, the one that everyone seems to be getting excited about, because it was a rumor in January and it was a rumor that's resurfaced again, is Andre Trindade, or Andre, as you like to call him. I think this is the direct replacement for Paulinho. I think this was the plan. I think this is the plan. If Paulinho goes, it triggers us to be like, right, we've put money on the table for Andre before. Now let's take it seriously, because he can now come into that team and replace Paulinho. Fluminense is the team he's at. He's played for Brazil, the national team. He's been injured for quite a while, actually. And he only came back to the Fluminense first team just a few days ago and ended up getting booked in that game. And then he was not in the squad for their latest game. I think he played 45 or 90 minutes. I should probably double check. But he played some minutes. He got himself booked. And then he wasn't in the squad for the next game. Perhaps that was a suspension. I'm not sure. But the fact of the matter is he was injured, played one game, came back, and then wasn't in the squad. So hopefully he hasn't got another injury, because you don't want to be looking to sign a player who is currently injured, but he has just come back from quite a long injury. So this one, obviously, he comes from Brazilian league. I've seen him play on a couple of compilations on YouTube. But the ravings and the ratings coming from Brazil is that he is a really good player, and he's 21, 22 years old, very young. And the fee is only about £30 million as it stands. That was what was reported in January. And this would be a good signing, I think. I think he'd just be a good player. Of course, we signed a player in Rodrigo Muniz from the Brazilian league, and it took him a while to get going. But I mean, boy, Rodrigo Muniz is one of the first names on the team sheet now for Fulham. So that's that. Those are those three players. If I've missed out anyone who's been linked, I know there's been plenty of links this summer, but I felt like those three are probably the most I can see sort of carrying on, and we see more of that in the next few weeks up until the start of the season, the end of the window. Now, I've separated this out with these five players because there's two players who, one being quite literally today, has been just rumoured and it came out of nowhere, but it has a bit of legs to it, I think. And then there's another one who I think may also have some legs. So let's start with Samir Kiliksoy. 18 years old. He will be turning 19 in mid-August, so he might be 19 by the time we sign him, if we sign him. From Besiktas. He's a Turkish, I think, forward. He's a forward. Now, he was in the Turkish Euro squad, Euro 2024 squad. However, he only played 2 minutes of action. He was on the bench for every game, came on for 2 minutes in the 2-1 defeat to Netherlands in the quarterfinals just a few days ago. Now, I can't sit here and say I know anything about this player. What I can tell you is the feedback from various WhatsApp groups that I'm on, and Fulham fans and football fans, is that he's just one of those FM wonder kids. What I mean by that is Football Manager wonder kids. So, look, 18 years old. It's an exciting prospect. We're dipping into the Turkish market. And this is the report that came through. When Fulham get linked with players from Turkey, I sometimes get a bit suspicious. They're not always what they say they are. But the sources and the journalists that have tweeted out about this seem pretty reliable. The tweet says, exclusive, Fulham made official contact with Besiktas for Samir Kiliksoy. It goes on to say, Fulham and Besiktas club officials contacted. Fulham is preparing to make an official offer of 20 million euros for the player, who is 18 years old. I then just added that I looked at his numbers from last season. He's, according to Flash Scores, he scored 11 goals and made 3 assists last season in 23 appearances. I mean, that is pretty good numbers for an 18-year-old. And We'll just see. This one maybe has some legs to it. It's okay because we're sitting here now and we haven't made any signings, but there seems to be a little bit of pickup of activity. Um, Something to get excited about. Now, the final one is the one that has been reported by both sides, i.e., by people who write about Fulham and people who write about Arsenal. And there's two clubs involved in wanting to make this signing of Emile Smith-Rowe. That's the player. Crystal Palace and Fulham. However, the reports say thus far that Fulham are the front runners to sign him. Now, Arsenal have a number of players that they want to sell, get rid of, raise funds for, to improve their squad as they try and go for a title, which again they've missed out on in the last couple of years, to Manchester City. So, Emile Smith-Rowe is one of those players who Arsenal are willing to let go. And let's not lie, his talent is extraordinary. He is a very gifted player who just happens to be one of those players who is a bit of a bit part player for a very top team. He's still only 23 years old. I remember, of course, he played for Huddersfield at Craven Cottage when they lost 3-2. He went 3-0 up under Parker and Huddersfield got a couple of goals back. I think he may have scored because I remember him being very impressive that day. And of course, that was when he was on loan before he even started really playing for Arsenal. Emile Smith-Rowe played 22 minutes in the final game of the season against Everton. Since then, he was on the bench for most games. The 2-0 loss to Aston Villa, he played 12 minutes. Before that, he played 85 minutes against Luton. So you see, my point being, he hasn't played an awful lot of football in the last season. Let's have a little look at how many appearances he made. 13 appearances. That might just be, yes, that is Premier League. He made 13 Premier League appearances last season. Some off the bench, some from the start, and he got just one assist. So this is a player clearly needing more first team football. Do you look at Andres Pereira and be like, oh, this is a similar situation to Andres Pereira, who was at United with not enough minutes, and he came to Fulham and really did quite well? Yeah, you could maybe compare that. Hopefully, Fulham can secure this. The fee is apparently around 25 to 30 million. I think that's fairly reasonable. I mean, English tax, I think actually that's quite a good fee for a player who has still loads to give and lots of potential. And I think this one could be, dare I say, the marquee signing of the summer, perhaps. But it's a good caliber of player to be going after, to be targeting. Again, like he just because he hasn't played for Arsenal that much last season, in the last couple of seasons, does not mean he lacks quality. He genuinely is a fantastic player. A lot of Arsenal fans are very excited about Emile Smith-Rowe and still really rates him and still want him to stick around. But if Arsenal want to go for that Premier League title, for the latter stage of the Champions League, maybe they might have to cut their losses, sell him again, like I say, to build up a bit of money to not replace him as such, but to add better quality of players. But I think Emile Smith-Rowe is a Premier League quality player, and this one just makes sense. Now, there's rumours that Andres Pereira could go elsewhere this summer. Newcastle seem to be the team who are most linked with Pereira at the moment. And Emile Smith-Rowe can sort of play. He can play as a number 10. And I think he could play on the left and the right as well. He a little bit more versatile behind the striker. Sort of see him as maybe like a Harry Wilson in terms of where he can play across the park. But predominantly, he is more of a number 10, whereas Harry Wilson, I thought when Harry Wilson joined the club that he would basically play as a number 10, but actually we see him more on the right-hand side as a right winger. I am quite excited by this. I think this is the one that is the most exciting. And I tell you what, in terms of rumours, it hasn't been every day bombarded with Fulham are linked with this player and that player. No, there's been links. The time of recording, it's the 9th of July. We've got about 5 weeks basically before the season starts. We already have 2 confirmed friendlies before that. I'm pretty sure there should be more. You don't go into a season off 2 friendlies, whether they be behind closed doors or in front of fans. We shall see. But let me wrap it up there because That's a lot of talking. Yeah, I bet when I come to edit this video, I've missed out a couple of players who've been linked basically all summer, and I've completely forgot. But I went with Andre Chalobah, McTominay, Emile Smith Rowe, and Killick Soy. So that's it. Thanks so much for watching. The support on the channel has been good. Thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you very much for being a part of this channel. We will be back soon, I'm sure. There'll be more rumours, I'm sure. There'll be more to talk about very, very soon. We've surpassed 100 subscribers. Now we want to try and get to 200 and so on and so forth. But thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, give it a like. That always helps. Comment down below who you think Fulham should sign. Who should we sign this summer? And have we left business? Are you panicking because Ipswich are making signings and Everton have signed Iliman and Jai, and Aston Villa have made signings? Plenty of Premier League teams have made signings so far this summer, and Fulham have not been one of those teams. But it does feel like in the last 24 hours, maybe things are picking up a little bit. Who knows? It could slow down. It could completely speed up. Of course. Thank you so much for watching. Like I say, subscribe to the channel. Share with people who you feel might enjoy the content too. There's plenty more to come. 5 weeks before the start of the season, there's still loads to talk about. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and go well.